Everybody, Paul Bray, family from the gaming. With me this week is
Team Gamer,
and we're ready for another FFG Top 10. I'd like to thank all of y'all for making Top 10 such a major success. We're going to keep this going for a while. And let's start with, we should probably tell them what this is.
Yeah, it's the top 10 gaming innovations in the industry.
These are the top 10 things that we find the most innovative throughout the history of the video game industry, especially for families. So let's start with your number 10.
Okay, first I want to start off with what would have been my 11 in-app purchases. Those I could not bring myself to put it on there because they're bad. That would be DLC as well. They're bad, but they're an innovation.
One of mine they didn't make it was Bubsy with all the animations. You know, way back in the 16-bit era. In fact, Aladdin did this too on Genesis, Super NES. They had all these animations. Didn't quite make my list, but all the different little animations in the game was kind of cool.
With that said, let's get to number 10. I have the pictures on the Dreamcast controller. They didn't really do much except for look cool, and that was about it.
Yeah, the little plug-in thing.
They didn't really have a function.
Well, you could take it with you and play like little tiny mini games.
But you couldn't really do a whole lot.
No,
it was like
it was
like
neat.
a handheld.
Yeah, it was neat. So my number 10 is the Nintendo 64 controller. You could hold it this way, this way, this way. I mean, there were 3 different handles on it with all the different button combinations. It was pretty cool. Sure, the Jaguar may have had more buttons, but it really didn't work well, and it just didn't succeed well. So that was my number 10.
There were so many buttons, you didn't know what to do.
Yep. Now my number 9 would be the Dreamcast controller, like he talked about. I loved seeing the little pictures and little thing that was going on there. I mean, that was, you know, a precursor to a lot of things we saw later. What was your number 9?
My number 9 was the Game Boy being what really popularized handheld gaming, and 3DS is still going, so it obviously worked, and it's still doing things.
Yeah. Go to number 8?
Yeah, might as well. Gyroscope.
Oh, gyroscope controls.
The Wii had some gyroscope stuff, and that's using the motion controls. It has, I think, what, PS2 stuff maybe, somewhere around that era.
iPad.
If you watch the Wipeout series, you'll see quite a bit of the gyroscope controls. I think that's what, Wipeout 2, 3, something like that. You can find that on the channel. That uses gyroscope to balance. There's plenty of applications for it.
So my number 8 is VR. VR is, of course, pretty new. Just coming out.
Well, no, not
well, okay. The Virtual Boy came out, but really the Virtual Boy wasn't really technically VR.
It was just a red screen. It was infrared. You're playing the game in infrared.
They had VR back in maybe the 90s. In like arcades, it was like a big clunky thing. You stood inside a circle. So VR, it has been around for a little while. It's really in 2016 starting to catch fire. My number 7 would be the dual screens, like on the Nintendo DS. And that's pretty innovative. You have a top screen, you have a bottom screen. They can sit there and go from the top screen to the bottom screen with stuff. I thought that was really cool, really innovative. What's your number 7?
Connect.
Connect the dots, la la la.
No, Connect.
Oh, the Xbox Connect.
The original Connect had its problems. They've really improved the Xbox One. It locks onto your spine.
Skeleton,
whatever. But when you think about that, so then if you
pretty innovative technology.
If you were watching from him, because they say they keep it all on recording, if you were watching from the person who's watching them, they just see a bunch of spooky skeletons dancing around with they just dance.
Yeah.
I kind of feel sorry for them.
What was your number 6?
Wii motion controls. That's what started the Connect with the gyroscope, the movement, and they're like,
it got people off the couch, exercise.
Unless you were playing on the couch and shaking their remote around.
So my number 6 was 3D gaming. Yeah, you know, when we started out, all we had was 2D flat plane gaming. When they finally came up with 3D gaming, that really innovated the industry and opened a lot of the doors. It hasn't really killed off 2D gaming because there's plenty of 2D games.
But Mario.
3D gaming still does, you know, it's impressive when it came out, and it still impresses today. My number 5 was going along with his was the motion controls on the Wii. I remember when I first heard about that, first played it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know, so what's your number 5? My
number 5 is VR for same reasons as yours. I mean, Virtual Boy was a complete failure. Didn't they recall it? You still have yours or something?
I still have one. We still have one. Maybe we should do a video sometime and show the Virtual Boy and show people playing it and show the problems with playing it.
No.
Well, if you want that, leave a comment. What's your number 4?
The DS dual screens.
Oh yeah.
Having the double screens, it's different.
Yeah.
It was another innovation for handheld, but sadly, it seems like since Vita's a fail, PSP was terrible. Nintendo has the monopoly on handhelds,
Yeah.
so there's not really much competition.
Yeah, back in the day, I remember there was the Game Gear, there was the Atari Lynx, and then I'm trying to remember what the Turbo one was, the NEC.
Turbo
Express, maybe?
Turbo Duo?
And the cool thing about the Turbo Duo was the home system. I think it was the Turbo Express. If I'm wrong, leave a comment and be like, hey, you're wrong. We have actually researched this, but this wasn't something we discussed earlier. You could take the home console cartridges for the TurboGrafx 16 and plug them into the handheld and take them with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was really cool. You're talking about cross-buy play. They had that way back in the 16-bit era. So my number 4 is Kinect. You know, I just love exercise games, dance games, you know, the Zumba. I mean, all the stuff you can do with Kinect is so cool. You know, and that is so innovative. We really just love it. My number 3 goes back to what I talked about the TurboGrafx 16 when it became the Turbo Duo, the CD-ROM. That was the first system to do a CD-ROM for video games. You know, other ones are, you know, kind of, oh yeah, we had, you know, a lot of people are all about PlayStation and CDs, but you know, it wasn't the first, and Sega CD wasn't the first either. Turbo Duo was the first one, so NEC really innovated and brought us to where we are now, way back in the day. And the sad thing was, the Turbo Duo didn't do that great. I mean, it did okay, but it really did kind of fail. That's a shame. Anyway, what's your number 3?
Mine's the same thing. CD-ROM. I mean, we still use it today. I mean, other than Nintendo uses cartridges, and Nintendo we already know is generations behind. I mean,
Yeah.
They're out of the console wars. They've been out for a while.
Yeah.
My number 2 was the toy-to-game games.
Yeah.
Skylanders is the one who really popularized it. We was what 5th, 6th Skylanders coming out soon, or already out.
I think 6th is coming out, but
There was 3 Disney Infinities. 4 Disney Infinity fell apart. There's about to be a second year of Lego Dimensions, and he's counting them.
maybe 5th.
Fifth.
You know what, if I'm wrong on this, I'm sorry. Didn't prepare for that one either. My number 2 would be swappable cartridges. That really way back in the day. You know, when you think about the first game systems, you know, the Pong, the Odysseys, the early systems, you had one game on there. That was it. Maybe you put something else on over your screen to pretend like you were playing something else.
Pong.
But it was one game. You know, it's like, ooh, now you're playing tennis, but it's still Pong. You know, now you're playing badminton, but it's still Pong. So swappable cartridges, and if I remember correctly, it was the Atari 2600. I could be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, leave a comment and be like, hey, it was actually whatever. But I remember, you know, for me, it was the Atari 2600 was the first one I used with swappable cartridges, and I thought, this is really cool. You put in a different game, one system. That, back in the day, was awesome. And going on to my number 1, that would be Odyssey. You know, the first gaming system. Without that system, we wouldn't have video games. We wouldn't have the industry at all. So you got to give that one props.
I mean, I couldn't keep that off the list. I mean, if you hadn't heard it already, you know it's gonna be number 1. I mean, that's the innovation that caused all other innovations.
Yeah. So it's got to be number 1. But hey, if you got other things, you're like, hey, this belonged or that belonged, or 3D gaming, or 4K, or whatever you think that might belong on the list, leave a comment. Let us know.
Well, I thought about wireless controllers.
Wireless controller, I think the Wavebird on the GameCube was the first one that did that. That was pretty cool. That was another cool innovation.
Turbo.
Yeah.
Cool thing, but they never really took off.
Another innovation the industry probably doesn't like as much will be things like action replay.
Action replay is amazing.
Different little ways you can enhance your games. So that's all I have.
We would like to thank everyone for watching and say hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.